Cronyism and corruption, that's how the opposition is describing the latest development involving the award of a contract to buy 200 pre-owned vehicles for the police.
The private sector organization of Jamaica has also weighed in on the matter, describing it as gross incompetence, while calling for the intervention of the Prime Minister.
Parliament's Public Administration and Appropriations Committee, PAC, was yesterday told that almost a year after getting the contract, the supplier has been unable to deliver. TVJ's Andrea Chisholm has the primetime news follow-up.
From day one, then, opposition spokesman on national security Peter Bunting took issue with the government's policy to buy used cars for the police. Then came Wednesday's revelation that O'Brien's International Car Sales and Rentals Limited, the firm contracted to buy the vehicles, was still unable to provide the 200 pre-owned vehicles. That's after getting the almost $427 million contract in January, being paid half of the money and missing extended deadlines.
The fact that they were supposed to deliver 200 vehicles within 90 days, and almost a year later, they have only delivered 30, and even with the promise of still delivering less than 100 in total, it shows that there was not the capacity, there was not the competence.
Now, the website of the company's Office of Jamaica lists a Clement Ebanks as Secretary of O'Brien's. When TVJ News telephoned and visited the offices on Thursday at 1 Skibo Avenue, St. Andrew, we were told he wasn't there. In a June 4 article by the Gleaner newspaper, Clement Ebanks, referred to as the managing director of O'Brien's International Car Sales and Rentals Limited, spoke about the multi-million-dollar contract his company got for the police vehicles. He said, quote, "You had to find serious collateral to do this tender. It was the first time I have ever tendered. You had to get professional people to do it, so we put a team together." End quote. But at Wednesday's PAAC meeting, the National Security Ministry indicated that O'Brien's asked the government to pay or waive the special consumption and general consumption taxes on the vehicles at the port. This was the reason.
Unfortunately, the supplier inadvertently left these taxes out of his final cost.
Both the National Security and Finance Ministries decided not to pay or waive the taxes. In the end, though, the Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of National Security said she was told that a moratorium was granted for the vehicles to be cleared without the payment of the taxes.
This is a deeply corrupt process. All other bidders had to bid on the basis that they would have paid the SCT and GCT applicable to the ministry or to the police force. So the fact that this is now a year later, more than a year after the tender, being amended or waived to favor this importer just shows that the thing is mired in cronyism and corruption.
Mr. Bunting also had suggestions.
The first thing the government needs to do is to get a competent Minister of National Security. The country cannot afford the luxury of this one anymore. It's costing lives. The second, they need to, with the advice of the Attorney General, terminate this contract. It's obvious that the supplier cannot perform.
He is also suggesting that the government use the rest of the money to buy new police vehicles through the emergency procurement method. In the meantime, Leader of Opposition Dr. Peter Phillips supported the suggestions by Mr. Bunting, calling for a forensic audit of the administration and the intervention of the Contractor General and Auditor General. Andrea Chisholm, TVJ News.